A brand that once helped win a world war has almost disappeared from British roads. Bedford trucks were built in huge numbers, yet only a few survive today. Restorers say, bringing one back to life is now harder than ever. Something went wrong, something big, and the truth behind Bedford's downfall is far more serious than most realise. The foundation and expansion of Bedford vehicles. Vauxhall Motors established the Bedford Truck Division in Luton, England in 1931. General Motors owned Vauxhall and provided capital for expansion. The first Bedford vehicle, the WHG model, entered production in April 1931. This 2-ton truck sold for £168. By 1939, Bedford had manufactured over 250,000 commercial vehicles. The company employed approximately 12,000 workers at its Luton facility by the outbreak of World War II. Bedford secured massive military contracts during wartime. The Ministry of Supply ordered the Bedford MW, a 15 Scrapyard truck designed for military service. Production reached 66,000 units between 1939 and 1945. The Bedford QL, a 3-ton 4x4 truck, became standard equipment for British and Commonwealth forces. Bedford manufactured 52,247 QL models during the war. These vehicles operated in North Africa, Europe and Asia. The OY series, OX series and later the RL series established Bedford's reputation for durability under extreme conditions. Bedford established assembly plants in multiple countries during peak production years. Facilities operated in New Zealand, Australia, India, Pakistan, and various African nations. General Motors India assembled Bedford trucks in Bombay from 1948 onward. Pakistan's National Motors assembled Bedford vehicles under license. These trucks became essential to infrastructure development in newly independent nations during the 1950s and 1960s. The Bedford J-Series entered production in 1958, targeting lighter commercial applications. Over 125,000 J-Series vehicles sold before production ended in 1975. The M-Series, launched in 1969, offered heavier payload capacities. This model competed directly with Ford, Leyland and ERF trucks. General Motors faced financial pressures during the 1970s oil crisis. The corporation reduced investment in European truck operations. Japanese manufacturers, including Isuzu and Mitsubishi, entered European markets with more fuel-efficient designs. Bedford's model range became outdated compared to competitors. The TK design remained largely unchanged for over 2 decades. Market share declined to 18% by 1980. Labour disputes affected production throughout the late 1970s. The Luton plant experienced strikes in 1977 and 1979. These disputes disrupted supply chains and damaged customer relationships. General Motors considered Bedford unprofitable. By 1982, the corporation announced restructuring plans that year. Production volumes dropped from 45,000 units annually in 1979 to 23,000 units in 1983. Bedford's closure created immediate problems for existing owners. The company produced no parts inventory for long-term support. Dealers sold remaining stock within 2 years. Third-party suppliers manufactured some components but lacked complete catalogues. Engine parts remained available initially through Perkins and Bedford's own diesel division. However, body panels, glass, electrical components and transmission parts became scarce by 1990. Wrecker yards accumulated Bedford trucks throughout the late 1980s. Owners scrapped vehicles when major components failed. Repair shops refused Bedford work due to parts unavailability. A 1992 survey by Commercial Motor magazine found that 67% of mechanics would not accept Bedford repairs. The same survey indicated that parts costs had increased by 340% between 1986 and 1992 for components still available. Bedford truck survival rates vary by model and location. The TK series represents the most common survivor due to production volumes. Estimates suggest approximately 3,200 TK trucks remain in some form worldwide as of 2024. However, fewer than 800 maintain roadworthy status. Most surviving examples show severe corrosion. British climate conditions accelerated rust in chassis rails and body panels. Military Bedford models survived in slightly better condition. The MK and RL series used heavier gauge steel and received better maintenance during service life. Approximately 400 Bedford RL trucks exist today, with perhaps 150 operational. Original Bedford parts effectively ceased existence by 2000. The few remaining new old stock components command extraordinary prices. A new Bedford TK windscreen, originally priced at £45 in 1985, now sells for over £800 when available. Reproduction windscreens of inferior quality cost £350. Many glass suppliers refuse custom orders due to low volumes. Engine components present particular difficulties. Bedford use proprietary diesel engines in many models. The Bedford 330 diesel and 500 diesel engines shared few parts with other manufacturers. Cylinder heads for these engines became unobtainable by 1995. Owners adapted engines from Perkins, Ford and other manufacturers. Such conversions cost between £3,000 and £6,000. However, these modifications reduce historical authenticity and resale value. Transmission parts pose similar problems. Bedford manufactured its own gearboxes for most models. Synchronizer rings, bearings and gear sets cannot be purchased new. Rebuilders cannibalize parts from multiple gearboxes to create one functional unit. The Bedford Enthusiast Club formed in 1989 to preserve remaining vehicles. The organisation maintains approximately 450 members as of 2024. Most members own one or two vehicles. The club organises annual rallies where owners display restored trucks. The 2023 rally at Newark attracted 78 Bedford vehicles, representing the largest gathering in 5 years. Restoration costs deter many potential preservationists. A complete Bedford TK restoration requires between £18,000 and £35,000 depending on initial condition. Paint and bodywork alone cost £8,000 to £12,000. Mechanical rebuilding adds another £6,000 to £10,000. Interior restoration and trim work require additional £2,000 to £4,000. These figures assume owners perform some work themselves. Professional restoration shops charge considerably more. Museums preserve select Bedford models. The British Commercial Vehicle Museum in Leyland displays 6 Bedford vehicles. The Imperial War Museum maintains 3 military Bedford trucks. However, storage limitations prevent comprehensive collection. The Luton Culture and Heritage Service attempted to establish a Bedford museum in 2008. Funding never materialised. The proposal dissolved in 2011. Restored Bedford trucks command significant prices in specialised markets. A fully restored Bedford RL military truck sold for £32,000 at auction in 2022. This represented a record price for the model. Bedford TK trucks in excellent condition sell for £15,000 to £22,000. These prices quintupled since 2010. Military models attract premium valuations. The Bedford MK 4x4 in restored condition brings £28,000 to £38,000. Rarity drives these values. Only 17,000 MK trucks were manufactured compared to 717,000 TK models. Military vehicles also appealed to collectors interested in specific conflicts or periods. Unrestored but complete Bedford trucks sell for £1,500 to £4,500. These prices apply only to vehicles with minimal rust and complete running gear. Non-running projects with significant corrosion sell for £300 to £800. The United Kingdom retains the largest concentration of surviving Bedford trucks. Estimates place the number between 2,000 and 2,500 vehicles. Most reside in private collections or on farms. Scotland reportedly holds approximately 180 Bedford trucks. Wales contains an estimated 95 vehicles. Northern Ireland maintains perhaps 40 examples. Pakistan inherited substantial Bedford populations through military surplus and civilian imports. The Pakistan Army operated Bedford RL and MK trucks until the early 2000s. Many entered civilian service after military retirement. Current estimates suggest 800 to 1,000 Bedford trucks remain in Pakistan, though most are non-operational. These vehicles sit in scrapyards or serve as stationary storage. India manufactured Bedford trucks under license until 1988. Ashok Leyland, which purchased the license from Bedford, continued producing vehicles based on Bedford designs. However, these later trucks differed significantly from original British specifications. True British manufactured Bedford trucks in India number fewer than 200 according to commercial vehicle historians. African nations including Kenya, Zimbabwe, South Africa and Nigeria operated large Bedford fleets. Most served in agricultural and mining applications. Harsh operating conditions and limited maintenance destroyed the majority. South Africa holds an estimated 200 Bedford vehicles. Kenya maintains perhaps 150 trucks. These figures represent dramatic declines from peak populations, cultural significance and historical memory. Bedford trucks became part of post-war British identity. They appeared in films, on TV, and in everyday life. From school buses to delivery routes, many people recall riding in Bedford buses or seeing TK trucks on local roads, keeping the brand alive through memory even as ownership becomes harder. Former British colonies hold similar attachments. In Pakistan, Bedford trucks symbolise the nation's early independence years, with many citizens remembering Bedford buses from the 1960s and 1970s. Caribbean nations share the same connection, as Bedford vehicles once dominated their transport systems. Military heritage adds further importance. Bedford vehicles served in every British conflict from World War II to the Gulf War. Veteran groups preserve surviving examples for parades and ceremonies, and the Royal British Legion still uses a Bedford RL for remembrance events. Modern emissions rules increasingly sideline Bedford trucks. London's ultra-low emission zone and similar city policies block most pre-1980 vehicles or charge daily fees of £12.50, limiting their practicality. Insurance presents another obstacle. Some insurers reject Bedford trucks due to scarce parts, while others charge premiums 40 to 60% higher than classic cars. Even limited mileage policies range from £380 to £650. MOT inspections reveal growing survival problems. Corrosion is widespread, particularly in the TK's box section chassis, which traps moisture. Many repairs fail, and some restoration shops now refuse Bedford chassis work entirely, calling it uneconomical given part shortages, the final inventory decline. Scrappage schemes in the 2000s removed hundreds more, as owners accepted incentives instead of funding repairs. Natural attrition continues. The Bedford Enthusiasts Club often reports trucks being written off due to engine failures, corrosion, or restoration costs, accelerating the decline of an already shrinking fleet.